Breaking tonight, a suspect is now facing a federal terrorism charge in an attack on the CTA Blue Line.
Prosecutors say he's the man who randomly set a woman on fire earlier this week. Courtney Spinelli is at the Dirksen Federal Courthouse where he faced a judge this afternoon. Good evening, Courtney.
Good evening to you both, Ray and Lauren. It was quite an eventful hearing this afternoon. Even before Lawrence Reed walked into the courtroom, he was allegedly spitting on federal agents while he was being held in lockup. That erratic behavior continued during his hearing.
Today, the Chicago U.S. Attorney's Office filed a federal terrorism charge against Lawrence Reed.
U.S. Attorney Andrew Boutros and the head of ATF's Chicago Field Division, detailing graphic allegations laid out in a federal criminal complaint. The 50-year-old suspect was taken into custody Tuesday morning, allegedly making comments that included burn alive expletive.
A 26-year-old woman was deliberately set on fire by Lawrence Reed in an unprovoked attack.
Prosecutors say the victim was on her phone on a CTA Blue Line train approaching the Clark and Lake station when everything happened. Minding her business, Reed allegedly walked over and poured what prosecutors believe was gasoline all over her head and body. The victim allegedly trying to fight off Reed, who chased her in the moving train car. Surveillance video shows Reed then lit the bottle on fire before using that to light the victim on fire. The suspect allegedly watching as the victim frantically tried to put out the fire by rolling on the ground of the train car.
The surveillance video is difficult to watch and is very disturbing, as a young woman was set ablaze and tried to put herself out while other passengers got out of the way or watched.
It was at the Clark and Lake station where police found the victim critically injured after two Good Samaritans helped put out the flames on the platform. According to court documents, investigators say Reed used a gas pump to fill a bottle at a gas station about 20 minutes before the attack. In court Wednesday, Reed yelling over Judge Laura McNally continuously, saying he pleads guilty and will represent himself. McNally said, "When you walked in here, I presumed you to be innocent of these charges. I'm guilty," Reed responded.
Lawrence Reed had no business being on the streets, given his violent criminal history and his pending criminal cases.
Reed's history spans decades, with arrests back to the mid-90s for domestic battery and battery on the public way. According to his record, he's been arrested 71 times and convicted 13 times in Cook County. He was on pretrial release for a battery case, accused of assaulting a hospital employee. Court records also show he pleaded guilty to arson in a 2020 case where he set fire at the Thompson Center.
Reed had plenty of second chances by the criminal justice system, and as a result, you have an innocent victim in the hospital fighting for her life.
Now, Reed is expected back here at 10 Friday morning for a hearing to determine whether he will remain in custody pending trial. We expect to learn much more.
You need a hearing to determine whether or not this guy's going to be let out of jail while he awaits trial. And we got it wrong. They were in Chicago. Another situation in Chicago. The YN shooting up the Christmas tree lighting just isn't enough, huh? It just wasn't enough. Chicago, listen, is there any way they can like take mayors out of office? Like, can they force them to resign or just remove them? Because I believe Brandon Johnson's neglect, and I would say the neglect of all these mayors in these liberal cities, I believe is bordering on criminal. This is in Chicago. I said New York. Apologies to New York. This is in Chicago again. I tried to give Chicago a little break because my mind doesn't want to believe that so much bullcrap could be going on in one single city, and I still got this mayor. The corporations need to pay their fair share. We need to have empathy for all the people who are suffering. And what about slavery? And what about the immigrant? Like, bro. Listen, Game Recognized Game said they rolled back keeping people like this in jail due to the George Floyd Prison Reform Acts. And it's backfiring on the community. But guess what? You get what you vote for. You get what you vote for. You want to be a do-gooder. You want to be a virtue signaler. You want to fight and be a champion for mentally unstable people to walk among you. And then when mentally unstable people do what mentally unstable people do, now what? Now what? What do you tell her family? She was just a woman on the train, minding her damn business. She's minding her damn business. You think when she walked out the house that morning, she thought, man, my life's going to end today, or I'm going to be seriously injured. Rather, I don't know if she died. Did she die? I don't think she died. Did she die? She didn't die, I don't think. But no, I know she didn't walk out the house and say, you know what? Someone's probably going to set me on fire today. And that someone is going to be a person who really should have been locked up. Also, a similar situation happened in NYC. That's probably why I was thinking about NYC. This is just sad, man. It's sad. It's sad. And if you're still voting for this nonsense, you're still making excuses for this, you, my friend, are part of the problem. There's no excuse to excuse stuff like this. There's no reason to try to justify or explain stuff like this. This shouldn't be happening. This man's been in jail dozens of times, multiple times for arson. He's clearly out of his damn mind. And what he did was premeditated. He went to the gas station, filled up the little the canister with gas, and was basically walking around saying he was going to burn somebody alive. But I bet you if you would have called the police and would have said, hey, there's a guy walking around over here with a gas can and he's saying, hey, he's going to burn someone alive, police would have never came. Police would have never came. And then you have people scared to call because they don't want to create a situation like what happened with George Floyd. Nah, man, you got to start snitching. You got to start snitching. But there's so many beautiful communities around Chicago that are so peaceful. So peaceful. Get the hell out of that cesspool. Let them have it. Because you want me to tell you when they're going to start doing something about it? When the people who pay the taxes start leaving. And it's already happening. It's already happening. What part of the problem is he a part of? Answer me that. And I'll give you the link. You can come up here and definitely present that question because I don't know who you're talking about. What part of the problem is he a part of? Are you talking about the guy setting people on fire, or are you talking about the mayor? That's what I would have to ask. Oh yeah, sometimes when the good people move back or out, when the good people move back or move out, you guys got to explain. But yeah, so yeah, this is just willful neglect. Well, this is willful neglect by Mayor Brandon Johnson. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's done, and he doesn't care. Even when you look at him speak, he's like a Manchurian candidate. No emotion. He's an ideologue, like Stalin or Hitler. Their idea is more important. Them realizing their idea or the promotion of an idea is more important than any loss of life. That's what Hitler did. We are the supreme race. And if hundreds of thousands of Germans have to die to prove that, it doesn't matter. If millions of Jews have to die to prove that, it doesn't matter. As long as my point is proven. This is a Pyrrhic victory. Do you know what a Pyrrhic victory is? A Pyrrhic victory is a victory where you might get a victory. Well, that's the best they have of achieving. You might win the battle, but the battle is so costly. It takes such a huge toll on your army or on your city that once you win the battle, it's like you might as well have lost because you've already lost so much. This is what I'm telling you. The best they can hope for is a Pyrrhic victory. And when you look at it and break it down, that's no victory at all. That is no victory at all. I'm talking about who you said was a part of the problem. However, if you wasn't referring to the guy who set the lady on fire, disregard the question. No, I am talking about the guy who set the lady on fire. The guy who set the lady on fire is definitely a part of the problem. And the people who defend and fight to keep these mentally ill people on the street, and they hide behind this term, oh, cruel and unusual punishment. Like, okay, so either you have psychosis induced by drugs, or maybe you were just born that way. So to avoid violating your rights, we are now violating everybody else's rights. You're not violating their rights. You're giving them the help they need. They might not know that they need it because they're crazy, but you're giving them the help that they need. Because now this guy is going to go to jail for the rest of his life. I think anybody would rather be in a mental institution with some form of freedom and autonomy. You know, they get to choose what kind of jello they want. I think they would love to be there instead of in a prison cell. In a prison cell with a door. That's it. With a food tray. And 4 walls around them. In a toilet half a foot from your bed. No, you're helping them. Because if you don't help them by putting them in a facility like that, you're going to end up waiting until they do something that's going to land them in a cell for the rest of their life. Like this guy. He's probably going to spend the rest of his life in prison, in high power, 23-hour lockdown, 1 hour a day to get out. No phone calls, probably no visitation, eating state correctional food trays for the rest of his life. Now, what if they would have intervened before this and helped this man and got him the help he so desperately needed? Yeah, Gongen, whatever your name is. I don't understand what you're saying. Whose problem? And is that problem the same problem if it was a white guy? I think if you're an adult and you don't realize that anyone who sets someone on fire needs to be in prison, something's wrong with you. This is not even a black or white issue, man. They didn't even mention the race of the woman. Could have been a black woman for all we knew. Race has nothing to do with this. Mental instability is mental instability, whether you're white, black, blue, or green. It's a problem all around. But the thing is, it's mostly the black people who are being deprived of the services that they need. That's what's going on. Yeah, this question is just stupid. But the black people are being deprived of what they need. I actually work in this field, developmentally disabled people, people suffering, people in psychosis. I work in this field. And what I'm telling you is there are millions and millions of dollars that are allocated to helping these people every single year. But it's the family is ultimately responsible because they have to go down to the regional center and set up the services. Guys, am I too loud? Let me know if I'm coming off too loud. They have to go down to the regional center and set up the services for their family member who is, suffering from mental illness. A lot of the Hispanic families, a lot of the white families, they're down there They're down there every month, every week, setting this stuff up, admitting their family member to these facilities and and putting them in these programs that are designed to keep them safe and others safe. You're making sure that they're not a threat to themselves or others, right? But it's just something about African Americans, man. It's something about us, man. I'm black too. But we have this, like, it's so taboo, the idea of going to seek mental help. Like we have this taboo about mental health services and seeing psychiatrists and psychologists. We also have this taboo about admitting our family members to mental institutions. I have an uncle. He's criminal. He's dead now, but he was criminally insane, like the Joker. Not like the Joker, but he was criminally insane. He'd get out of jail. He'd hear voices. The voices would tell him to commit crimes. Understand that. Voices would tell him to commit crimes. When he would get off his medicine, he would be out robbing, hurting people, doing stuff to people, robbing stores and stuff. And he actually had got shot up one time. He got shot up. And the only thing that stopped the cops from shooting him was his twin brother, my other uncle, ran into the gunfire and jumped on top of him and said, "Please don't kill my brother." And the police stopped shooting, right? Luckily. That man was admitted to a mental institution in San Diego, California. I believe it was called Patton. I think it's called Patton. I'll look it up. Yeah, this place is the city is called Patton, California, but it's right up near on the way to San Diego, I believe. I believe we went to go see him one time. He was buff as hell, but it's been around for ages. It's been around for ages. He was admitted to Patton, this place right here. It started as a little place, and then it got big, man. Patton State Mental Hospital. Here's a little picture of it. This is like a drawing or something. I don't know. But Patton State Mental Hospital, he was admitted there, and he ended up living the rest of his life there. I mean, he was there over like 30 years, I believe. But you know what happened? He actually came up for release several times. Several times. And when he was on his medicine, because he took his medication there every day, he understood, like, if I go out to the streets, I'm probably not going to, like, be on my medicine. So I don't need to be in here, out on the streets. So he refused to accept his release, and he just chose to stay there. It was just better for him. It was better for him. It wasn't a prison. It was a mental hospital. You know, he had autonomy. He could move around, had a room, all this stuff. But it was better for him. We got to bring that back. We have to bring that back. It's not safe for you, me, or our children with people like this running around. What if that had been a young kid, a teenager? What if that had been someone who was under 18? Then what? Then what? You know, I see Gong. None of you people who blame individuals as part of the problem never describe the problem that an individual is supposed to be a part of. The individual is part of the problem because that individual is not taking if they're even prescribed medication, right? That individual, like my uncle, he realized, hey, I'm not right in my mind. I need to be like here. I need to be in this place. I don't need to be out on the street. A lot of people know something is wrong with them, you know, but they don't want to go and say, hey, I need help. But I believe they are part of the problem, because, and when I say that, I really mean like people whose psychosis is induced by drugs, right? Like the guy who he's totally normal, but he does PCP, right? And now he's out shooting people. And I've known people like that. They know, like, you know, there are people who have to get on pills and stuff to go commit murder. There's people who got to get drunk to go hurt people. They know what they need to do, And they know what using drugs will lead to, and they still do it. Right? It's like the guy who goes to the club knowing he just is going there to fight. He's not going there to dance or meet anyone. He's a head buster. He wants to go to the club just to fight. Pick a fight with somebody and start, mixing it up. A lot of these people know that there's something wrong with them. And a lot of these people know how they will behave once they're under the influence. And to those people, I say they are part of the problem. But if you are the person suffering from the illness, mental illness, you definitely are part of the problem. I'm not saying it's your fault, but you're part of the problem. Excuse me. But you're not you're the person who needs help. But I'm not saying it's all your fault. But I'll tell you one thing. Someone setting somebody on fire with a gas can, they know that that's wrong. Even if you hear voices telling you to do something, you know whether what those voices are telling you to do is right or wrong. Trust me. Even my uncle, the one I told you got admitted to the institution, I remember my grandmother told me a story about him. And she was like, one time she woke up in the middle of the night and bro was in the kitchen having a whole conversation with someone. It was no one there, but it was voices in his head. And he was like, yo, that's my family. I can't hurt my family. Nah, I'm not going to hurt my family. I don't care what you say. I'm not going to hurt my family. I love them. Like, this is the story she gave me. Bro's in there, like he's talking to another person, and that person is telling him to go, like, kill his family, basically. And I remember my grandmother was like, and yeah, that was my last night stand there. And she moved out because she was staying with my other uncle, him and my other uncle, who was his brother. They're actually twins. They both dead now. But yeah, no, people know right from wrong. Understand that. People know right from wrong. A dog know right from wrong. A baby know right from wrong. You don't need this high level of cognitive function to know right from wrong. But it's just whether you can defeat the voices in your head, right? I have a friend. He was suicidal. He's dead now too. For many years, he heard voices telling him to kill himself. He fought those voices for many years. He would take his medication. He'd be fine, normal, right? He'd get depressed about something, stop taking his medication, feel like he's fine, all that stuff. And he moved to another state. And guess what? He wasn't around his parents. He wasn't around his family. Moving to go be with some chick. She didn't know what to do. She left him because she would hear, he was struggling. And he succumbed to those voices and he hung himself in his closet, with his own jiu-jitsu belt, which is crazy. But yeah, it's whether you can beat the voices or whether the voices are going to get the better of you. And in that time, you're only fighting them because you know what's wrong and right. But if you don't immediately go get help, hey, man, I'm hearing voices. They're telling me to do all types of crazy stuff. I guess you can be a part of the problem. Hey, thanks for that, Zarth. Yeah, good friend of mine, man. Sad story.